Hello, are you okay?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. Yes, busy evening. I've just put my kids to bed, and well, they're both still awake, but I'm like, shh, Mummy's working now.
Oh, I love that multitasking.
Yes.
Cool. So, we are very, very lucky to have Salli with us this evening. She is in a completely different team to us, but she is a qualifying national marketing director, and I feel like we have naturally just been business buddies. Like we've always been drawn to each other, haven't we? Which is nice.
Definitely. Yes.
So Salli is a mum of two. And she also has suffered with ME for quite some time, which I know she'll talk about a little bit later on. She's been in the business 2.5 years, has achieved amazing success. Her story is so inspiring. And now she literally lives life on her terms, works from home, and I know that's really suited your lifestyle and your setup. So we'll kind of go into that. But could you start by telling us, if you were to draw us a picture of what your life looked like before Juice Plus, what would that picture look like?
Okay, so I'm 37. Well, before Juice Plus, I was 34, and I had just I'd finished studying for my degree as a mature student. I'd gone back to university to study childhood studies in the hope of working in some sort of therapeutic capacity with children with difficulties. So I wanted to study, and I went back to university whilst I was married, and then had my second daughter in between. I fell pregnant in my first year, and then had her sort of in the 6 weeks holidays between the first and second years, and then went straight back studying full time.
Wow.
So it was always kind of like very full on. But to cut a long story short, just as I graduated, my health started to deteriorate, and my marriage also was deteriorating very badly at the time as well. So I became very, very sick. And the day I actually graduated and threw my hat, I got in the taxi and I literally collapsed into my husband's lap, fell asleep, and when they put me to bed, I didn't get out of bed again for 8 weeks. I completely lost the use of I pushed and I pushed and I pushed to get to the graduation ceremony, because that was my dream. That was what I wanted to do. I wanted to throw my hat like they do on Grease, like I've watched since I was 3 years old. I wanted to throw my hat, and I did it, and then I was like, so that was literally the turning point of my life. I went from like really, really doing well to really, really poorly. I've suffered with ME for 27 years, but this was a major, major relapse. Consequently, my marriage broke down, and 2 or 3 months later we separated, and I became heavily reliant on my mum to look after me, to look after my children, because I was too sick, too tired. I suffered with anxiety, depression, sensory overload, chronic fatigue, pain, insomnia, you name it, I had it basically. And I had a nice little bag of pills that I used to run around sort of clutch into me, because that's what got me through the day, was all the medications that they put me on just to keep me going. So I moved to be closer to my mum, but still my mum would have to come around every single morning to help me get the kids up and dressed and ready for school. She'd take them to school, she'd leave me on the sofa with a cup of tea, sandwich for lunch, and a couple of bottles of water, and that was it. I was kind of left to fend for myself until she came and went and picked the kids up and then came home and helped me cook the tea, and bath them, and put us all to bed at 7 o'clock.
Oh.
That was my life. That was exactly what my life was for a year.
Wow.
So yeah, it wasn't fun.
So how did you come across the opportunity then amongst all of that? Because that's crazy.
Well, luckily, I've always been a really avid Facebooker. People used to joke about me being on Farmville and, playing all the stupid games. I used to spend hours. I'd set alarms to get up and farm my farm, stupid stuff like that.
You were
I was that girl, yeah. So I had no life, and I literally lived vicariously through Facebook, really. So I set up a community. When I first felt sick with my ME, I didn't actually know anyone as an adult. I'd never really experienced ME as a grown-up, because I was a child at the time when I was diagnosed. So I wanted to find more people like me. So I set up a support group on Facebook for people with ME and chronic fatigue and various other illnesses similar. And that built up a community. And then I had a friend that was posting on Facebook, as you do, and I'd met her through another business that I was running. So I was running a small sewing business, just sewing patchwork quilts and things like that, just to make ends meet. And she was a fellow business owner, and she started posting about these products, and she was feeling really healthy, and I didn't really pay a great deal of attention initially, but she kept sort of saying how much energy she had, and I was just like I need whatever she is on, I need that, you know, like I need this stuff, I need some energy. So I approached her about the products and signed up to the premium capsules, purely for energy, nothing more. Didn't want to lose weight, wasn't interested in changing my diet, wasn't interested in any weight loss plans, any shakes, nothing like that. I just wanted a bit more energy so that I could get up and look after my kids and cook them tea and bath them and put them to bed. It's all I wanted. So that's how I came about it. And initially when I contacted her, I was on benefits, I was on income support, and I sort of said to her, I can't afford that kind of money. So I went away and said, you know, no, I can't do it. And then it was feeling, I think it was one day, and I'd shouted at my kids and I was really upset. And I thought, do you know what? I need to do something. I need to try something to make myself feel better. So I approached her again, and I thought, do you know what? I was kind of in quite a bit of debt anyway. I figured, what's another couple of £100 on my credit card? And I'm not saying that this is a wise idea by any stretch of the imagination, but they say you find the business and the products through inspiration or desperation, and I was 100% desperate.
Yeah.
So I signed up for the premium capsules, and they literally transformed my life. I went from basically in 10 days, the difference was subtle to start with. In 10 days, my energy levels had improved to the point of I suddenly realised I wasn't falling asleep in front of the telly at 7 o'clock. That was quite a big thing. I was like, oh, it's 8 o'clock. You know, check me out. And then like my eldest daughter was able to come and sit and watch TV with me until like 8:30 or something. And that was a nice little bonding moment, because my youngest was in bed and we had that little bit of time together. And I was like, something's changing. And my life has gone on to get better and better from there, from taking the products to now I work out at the gym, I eat healthy, I follow the plan, I do the shakes, I do all the things that you're supposed to do. And my life is infinitely better. I'm now 90% better than I was.
Wow.
I still have my bad days.
Yeah.
It's no cure. But if I do have a flare, I use my capsules, I double up on them, and I know, and I focus on the nutrition. What I'm putting into my body is now so much more important. And it keeps me going. So yeah.
Wow, I think people underestimate the power of nutrition, don't they? In like you said, not cure but prevention. You kind of answered my second question, which was, did you have any worries and objections? But I think, like you said, you know, sometimes you get to that point where it's like, okay, you might not be able to afford it instantaneously, but actually, like, what are you going to change? Because if you don't change, then your situation's not going to change, and sometimes you have to make that sacrifice. So I
had to make the decision for my children. If I wanted anything to change in my life, I had to make the decision to try. And my genuine feeling was, I'm going to blow this money up the wall. It's not going to work. What's fruit and veg in a capsule? I don't get it. Like, I was that skeptical girl. I was completely adamant. I wasn't changing anything. I didn't want to do, all I wanted was something that I could do that gave me a bit of energy. And honestly, from going from a complete skeptic, I'm now, like 3 years later, I would never be without them, quite frankly.
Yeah, love that. So what was your first 6 weeks like then, Salli?
In the business?
Yeah.
So the opportunity, I kind of had approached my rep at the time about the opportunity, and she'd left the business by this point. So I kind of was like, I was like, oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe I won't do it. So I was posting on Twitter about doing my detox plan and stuff like that, because I decided to do it again in the January. And I was found on Twitter by my upline, Anna, and she sort of said, you're kind of already doing the job, you know, like I was already posting on Facebook. I was already telling everybody what I was doing, showing them what I was eating. I was basically like the dream rep all in one, you know, before it even started. And so I joined the business, and I kind of didn't think I'd be any good, because I was already doing that, and nobody had actually asked me anything. Like, nobody had actually asked me what it was I was doing. Occasionally they'd said, what is it you're doing? And I'd said, oh, I'll put you in touch with my rep. So I thought I'd be crap, but I wasn't crap. So I joined the business in February 2015, and wanted to earn £100, maybe £200, enough to A, earn my sign-up fee back, and B, I just thought, do you know what? If I do, even if I don't, I get 10% off my products anyway, and I'm going to be on these for a long time, so I might as well get my 10%. And in my first 2 weeks, I made 20-something sales. I made £220. And I will never forget, I said to my mum, I've worked it out, and I think I've made £220. And she was like, Sally, it could be a pyramid scheme, though. Make sure you check it's in your bank before you get too excited. And I was like, oh, okay, Mum, no worries. And then, of course, on the 10th of March, there it was, £220 sitting in my account. So I was like, what? This is real. That, like, this is great. And I went up to Birmingham and I went to one of our conventions, and I had a real light bulb moment. I'd only been in the business a week, and I got myself to that convention. I'd stayed in a room with a complete stranger, and I saw all these people up on stage, and I was like, I just cried. I literally just cried. That first convention. I just felt like I can help. This is a platform for me to help other people. And that's why I'd done my degree, because I wanted to help people, but I didn't know in what capacity. So I had that feeling like, okay, I know this stuff works for people like me. I can help more people like me, and I can make some really good money at the same time. Win-win. You know, like it was a no-brainer. And I came home and I just worked. And I hit SDD in my first month, and my paycheck was £750 that month.
Wow.
My second month, I reconfirmed SDD and went SC. And then the next month I did SC, then SSC, and I did QNMD in 7 months, I think it was.
Wow.
So I always say, sorry, I've got notifications coming up. I always say that, you know, I kind of started the year on benefits and broke, and I ended the year, well, I started the next new year on a very, very happy paycheck.
Yeah, I bet. That's amazing. So if you've mentioned was that first check you got, was that your smallest?
My first, yeah, absolutely. I've never earned less than 4 figures since my second full month in the business. I've never earned less than £1,400 since my second month in the business.
Wow. And if you don't mind sharing, what's been your biggest?
Almost £6,000 in that January 2016. When I got my QNMD bonus, I literally just burst into tears. Like, I was able to do things with the bonuses. The bonuses are great, but they only come once. You know, the commission is great as well. But the bonuses allowed me the opportunity to take my children on 2 holidays, whereas we'd been unable to go on anything because I've been on benefits for a while. I was able to remove the tenants from the property that I own in Leicester, which cost me £2,000 because they had wrecked the house and things like that. Or it gave me choices that I wasn't able to do before. And that was incredible, to go from benefits January 2015, having nowhere to live, having no money in my bank, to living in a home and having £6,000 in my bank in January 2016.
Wow.
It was life-changing.
Yeah, that's so mega. So obviously the money's amazing, but aside from that, what's been the best thing about joining?
For me, it would have to be, so I'm just going to check my phone to charge it. For me, it has to be the friendships that I've made. So going back to when I was bedridden, housebound, and although I was active on Facebook and had a lot of Facebook friends, I didn't have any local friends because I'd been really isolated for a long time. My mum did all the school runs, so I didn't get to meet the mums on the school run. I was very, very isolated, and I had friends, but not people that I was in touch with on a daily basis. Since joining this business, I honestly have met the most amazing people. Like, I've got people that are across this business, like yourself, like I wouldn't have known you. I've got friends that are at the top of the business that have joined my team, that have come from sidelines. Like, we go out so much and we have such a fun time all the time. Like, every month, everyone's like, oh, you're always going out and you're always having fun. I'm like, it's work. And they're like, oh, you go out with work. And I'm like, I love it. It's like the best thing ever. Getting together with my work friends is the best. I've made friends for absolute life. Like, Katie is one of my best friends. She came to me as a customer. She was in a wheelchair at the time, couldn't work, very, very poorly. And now 3 years later, we've been on 3 holidays together to Marbella. You know, we're inseparable, and she's my wife, you know. So, you know, friendships that you get from this business. And obviously I've got Olivia, who's like my little sister, that she's become family to me. And my entire team, they're just like your next best friend. So you've always got someone there to talk to. So I never feel lonely. I've never felt lonely for the last 3 years. It's impossible.
That's so lush. I think when people are self-employed, it can be really difficult because you're most of the time on your own. And this is great because you can be self-employed, so you have the benefits of it, but you're in business for yourself but not by yourself. So you always have someone to reach out to. Amazing. So why would you say, obviously being someone that suffers with ME and being a mum, why is this a good opportunity for someone like that?
Why is it not a good opportunity for someone that's a single mum and that struggles with their health? First of all, I don't have to commute. One thing that used to kill me for working, I have worked full time. I've had lots of jobs over the years. But commuting is a killer. Getting up at 7 a.m. and getting in a car and de-icing it first thing in the morning, or getting on a train, like that's an hour. Like physically, for someone with ME, getting out and de-icing your car first thing in the morning, sitting in a freezing cold car, sets you off on a bad day. You're freezing cold and it hurts your bones, and you've already used up like a good percentage of your energy quota for the day. That's already gone. So you've got to do that. Then you've got to go and sit in someone else's office, and you've got to go and work for them, and then you've got to travel all the way home, and then you've got to come home and you've got to do tea, and you've got to do the housework. Well, as a single mum, I couldn't do that. I couldn't physically, with chronic illness, I couldn't. There are mums that can do it, but I couldn't physically get out of bed, take my kids to school, go to work somewhere else, come home and do all the housework and do all the cooking and do all the cleaning and get the kids to bed and sort of have a life. I'd be dead by 4 o'clock every day. So this opportunity, I've had my best month in the business, the month when I couldn't even get out of bed. So I was still able to work on a month. Like I had a really bad flare. My mum was very much part of that. She would help me look after my kids and would help put them to bed and things like that, and help do my housework. But I would just sit there. Now that would normally have ruined me for a month. I'd talk to no one. I'd see no one. I'd do nothing. I'd earn no money. I can't sew blankets when I'm having a flare and I can't get out of bed. But I can sit on my phone and I can talk to people with my thumbs. My thumbs don't get tired. You know, the thumbs don't get tired. It's great. So like, it's literally an opportunity where you just don't feel lonely. You can do this business from your phone. You don't have to leave the house. You've got no overheads. You can still, I can do this and then I can go and put my washing on. I can go and get the tea on. I can probably stop a row between my two children if I need to. You know, I'm always here for them both. I never miss a school play. I never miss a school run. Honestly, it's a dream job for me to not have to be reliant. I never have to call in sick. Like, how many of you guys hate, like, you're genuinely ill, you're actually dying, and you feel like, you know, that they don't believe you on the other end of the phone? That was what I used to hate. So I don't have to do that anymore. I just crack on.
That's so lush. I imagine, like, I can only imagine, but if you've got like a ongoing chronic illness, that like you must, every time you're phoning in sick, you get that anxiety, like, oh, I'm calling again. I'm calling in again.
Yeah.
It's not your fault, but you would naturally feel like that, wouldn't you? Like, oh, I'm
absolutely
more time off. So, and your phone sounds lush.
That is amazing, my mum.
Oh, okay. So, what would be your advice to maybe mums or women getting started? What would be your like 3 top tips?
I think my 3 top tips is to jump in at the deep end. Like, don't pussyfoot, don't dip your toe in and then go, oh, it's not for me. Really throw yourself into it, because that is what I did. I was like, this is honestly the best thing that can happen to me. It's something that to be honest, all I wanted to do was earn 200 quid from my phone and not have to, like, it was like a part-time job. Like, you know, like, I used to want to go and get a job in a pub just so that I had that extra income. But this, I could do this kind of job, but sitting on my sofa watching the telly at night.
Yeah.
So there's no excuses not to jump in deep. You know, you can do this business in 3 hours a day. You don't need to be full-time. I didn't intend to do this business full-time from the start. I just cracked on with it. So jump in straight away. My other tip would be to immerse yourself in the people in the business. So that's your customers, and that's your sidelines, and that's your team. So get to an event, meet your upline, get on your Zoom calls, listen to the training. Success leaves clues. So listen to what everybody else is doing and follow what they're doing. You know, it really is so simple. But the more that you get to know, the more you go to events and the more you get to know other people, the more you feel like a part of the family.
Yeah.
And that is what's going to keep you going. It's going to stop you feeling like, oh, I'm posting on Facebook and nothing's happening. You know, it's more than posting on Facebook. It's about relationships and building friendships and helping people. And don't ever feel like you're annoying people with what you're doing, because all you're trying to do is help other people.
Yeah.
My last tip for mums and people like myself is keep your daily list. Like, so we have a DMO, so those of you that are not already in the business, it's a daily method of operation, and it doesn't have to be huge. You can keep it really, really simple. Keep it so that it fits around your time, fits around your life, fits around your children. I made the mistake at the beginning. I became obsessed with the business. I was like, that's it, I've got to do it 24/7. And I did, and I loved it. But actually, after a little while, my mental health started cracking, because my kids, I was trying to message people and deal with the kids and cook the dinner. So now I don't have that. Now I put my phone down and I spend quality time with my children when they need it, because between 4 and 7, that's their time. You know, don't let it take over your life and feel like it's consuming you, because the whole point of this business is that it gives you the time freedom to spend that time with your children, and then you can put them to bed and then you can crack on in the evening. You know, there's so many tricks, but as long as you manage your time effectively, you can do this business in the nooks and crannies of the day. I mean, how many of us take your phone with you to the loo? Wherever you go, you take your phone to the toilet. I do. You know, you're having a wee or whatever, and you know, you can send a message, you can do a post, you can find, you know, anything you can do. You can do it in the nooks and crannies of the day. For those of people that have breaks at work, you go make a cup of tea while you're waiting for the kettle to boil, blah, blah, blah. You can do a little post. It's not about having to have a lot of time. It's about making the time that you have valuable. And I think that's probably my best tips for people like me.
I love that. So good, honestly. Okay, so if you could go back in time to when you first started the business, and if you could know something that you know now that you wish you knew then, what would it be?
Oh, what would I know? I think I'd want to know, before I joined the business, I had no idea what this business could actually do for you. I genuinely just wanted to earn a few £100. I wish it's kind of been like a nice box of secrets and surprises as it's gone along the way. So it's kind of nice that I didn't really know. But the fact is that what I would like to have known is that this was going to change my life, because I would have done it 8 months earlier when I was offered the opportunity repeatedly by people going, you're doing this, you've got amazing results, why are you not? And I was like, no, it's like Avon, I'm not interested, I'm on benefits, I can't do it. And that's what I kept being told. And I was like, oh, you know, that's what I kept telling people. I wish I'd listened, and I wish I'd just taken the minute to have a look at the opportunity properly, see and get myself to an event and actually feel the atmosphere and feel the real stories behind it, because all I knew was me and my life and what I knew. So I wish I'd seen the bigger picture, but I was very lucky that I went to an event, the big regional convention, within a week of joining the business. And so I was very, very lucky. I think if I'd left that any longer, I may not have got my spark so fast. But getting to that event changed my life completely.
I love that, because we talk about events a lot, and to think you went in your first week and then you went to QNMD in 7 months, that's like unbelievable. I sometimes think we don't know our full potential, do we? Like, it's easy to look, you know, to look back and go, oh, if only I knew my full potential. But sometimes you just, like you said, not dip your toe in, you got to jump full force.
Absolutely. I didn't really have a clue what to expect with the business, and I didn't think I'd be any good. I genuinely thought I'd be crap, that nobody would buy from me. And then none of my friends actually bought from me. Like a couple of people bought from me, but none of my friends are my customers. All of my team and all of my customers are complete strangers that have just followed my journey. And if I'd known that as well, I think that is probably another big key, is don't worry about all your mates not buying from you. Find other people. There's billions of people on Facebook, billions. You know, the world's massive, social media is massive, and there are people at the ends of your fingertips. It's not a hard business, but you've just got to be willing to try, and you've got to be willing to put yourself out there a little bit and be a model almost for the product. You know, because that's all people want to do, is they want to see what you're doing, they want to see you succeed, and then they want to go, oh, if she can do it, maybe I can do it. And then you just help them, you hold their hands and you say, come with me, we're running and we're going to the top. You know, and that's how to do it. That's
lush. It's mad. I was exactly the same as you. None of my friends and family bought from me, and even like I always think it's funny how I'd connected with a girl who was a friend of friend. She had lived in my area till the age of 12. She then moved to America, which is how I ended up having her on my profile. I didn't even know who she was, and now I have a team of 15 in the US, all through just random connections. And I think, oh my goodness, like, people think they doubt themselves because they say I don't know anyone. Well, I didn't know anyone, and now you know, and you were exactly the same. I think that's really inspiring.
Yeah.
So Salli, if you were going to draw us a new picture of what your life looks like now, what would it look like?
Well, I'm really excited to say that today is the 1-year anniversary of me moving into my house that I'm living in now, which is amazing. So when I was really poorly, I had to move into what I used to call the crap shack, because it wasn't a very nice house and it was just a means to an end, and I never intended to stay there, but I never had a clue how I was going to get out of it. But joining the business made me build an income to the point I was actually, and it also, not just the income, but the connections. The connections that I made are what got me this house, not just the money. So the people that I'd added on Facebook, the people that I'd started talking to, the people that had followed my journey, the people that were seeing me looking for a house, put me in touch with the people that own this house. And I got this house through the power of Facebook.
Wow.
So, you know, I was able to take my girls on 2 holidays not last year. So we went to Turkey all inclusive, and we went to Mallorca all inclusive. This year we've been to Ibiza, and I've been to Marbella 3 times in those 3 years, 2.5 years. I live at home. I'm still a single mum. My kids want for nothing. You know, we have the best friendship because I'm fun mum.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest things to come out of this business is I am now fun mum. This weekend we had girls weekend, we had popcorn night, we watched a movie, we played Uno. Whereas before I could barely even put my kids to bed. I couldn't even feed them more than a pizza. You know, my kids eat healthy.
Yeah.
My youngest daughter was a fussy eater, and she used to have a constant cough all throughout the winter. She hasn't had that cough for a year. She eats everything I put on her plate. She can even cook vegetable soup from scratch. She's only 6. She can actually cook you a vegetable soup from scratch.
I'm coming round.
You know, yeah, come round. But my life is just a case of I pay my bills every single month. I don't have that crazy disposable income yet. I don't have like Louboutin shoes, and I don't have Gucci handbags. But what I do is, as a single mom, I provide for my family. We have food on the table. We have a beautiful home to live in. We have clothes. We have shoes. We have school trips. We have everything that we need. All the school clubs that the kids want to do, they do it. That is priceless. That's worth more to me than all the bags and shoes in the whole wide world. The fact that I can provide all of that as a single mom, it's priceless.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You are like mum goals. Oh. No, I love following you, Salli, because I love seeing the relationship you have with your girls. It's so like clear to see, like it's just lush. It's really nice. Yeah. Okay, so tell us then, what's your exciting goals for the future?
Well, exciting goals is 100% to get to the next position, because I've been waiting 2 years for my moment now, and I need to get to the next position, NMD, and I want to get 12. I want to be Club 12, which means I want 12 of my team to be reaching really good promotions. I want them to be bringing in an income of at least £1,000 a month each, because I think once I make them a success, my success comes by the wayside. So my goal is to hit NMD by Birmingham and be up on stage and receive my awards. It's going to happen. It's got to happen. My time is happening. And it's really just to get myself to a point where I'm even more financially secure. So I've got debts that I still want to pay off. So I want to become debt free. I want to be able to, hopefully next year, my aim is to be able to work abroad for an entire month. I want to go to Ibiza and work out there and take the kids out there all summer holidays and just work from Ibiza for a month, just to see if I could perhaps think about living abroad. That's my dream. So I've got big dreams, big goals, but they're going to take a lot of hard work. It doesn't happen overnight. And it's just a case of never forgetting what, you know, why, my why really, my why. Okay, so my why that makes me cry is one that I don't normally tell loads of people, but it's actually just to be completely financially free from my ex-husband, because I don't ever, it's the most amazing why, because he's a pain in the neck when it comes to maintenance and debts that he owes in my name. That is my why, to be able to say to him, I don't need your money. I don't need anything from you. That is the goal. Like, that is the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And to say that I'm better than him.
You totally are. I just love that.
I totally am.
Salli, you are such an inspiration. You're like the sassiest single mum I've ever known. And, you know, I think a lot of people will relate to your story. It's honestly, we are so grateful for having you on this evening. So thank you so,
I'm
so
honoured that you
much.
had me on, so thank you very
Oh, no.
much.
And everyone that's watching, if you have been added to this group, then drop the person a message that added you. And we hope you love Sally's story as much as we did. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, Salli. Bye.